Call our meeting to order with the pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Greetings. Thanks for attending tonight. Before you have the minutes from our Thursday, June 10th meeting, are there any additions, clarifications, revisions, and the minutes be accepted as presented?
Motion to accept the minutes as presented.
Second. Motion to move second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I'll abstain since I wasn't here at the meeting. Motion passes. Treasurer's report. Before you see total cash available in general fund at $626,875.23. Total cash available in reserve accounts $76,652.77. Total cash available in the fire tax fund $44,367.46. Total cash available in sewer fund $357,919.32. Total cash available in liquid fuel account $296,389.64.
One comment, the ARPA money is actually reflected in the general fund accounts. The first priority didn't have the account fully open to deposit into. It was open, but it wasn't listed into the account, so on.
And what's the total for the ARPA?
The ARPA was $92,695.00.
So talking with the borough manager, I asked her to open up another separate account for that money, just so it'd be easier for us to track it. And then I wanted to make sure if we have any expenditures from that, it gets reflected in the treasurer's report every meeting. Therefore, council votes for expenditures out of that account. So that way council will be the responsible parties on what gets spent. If that's all right with the rest of council. And those accounting principles. Fiduciary stuff. So, is there a motion to approve the treasurer's report as presented?
So moved.
Is there a second? I'll second. Motion been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed. Motion passes. Before you see a consolidated payment of bills, out of the general fund, you'll see $90,714.21. Out of the sewer fund, $7,719.40. Liquid fuels fund, you'll see payment for $2,944.80. Fire tax fund, $2,938.88. Any questions about the bills as presented? Is there a motion to accept payment of bills as presented?
I move we accept the payment of bills as presented.
Second.
Motion been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, motion passes. Do we have any public hearings? If someone's on the YouTube channel and sent in, how do they notify us?
There was not anything as of about
Fine.
7 o'clock.
If someone has something, they can certainly signal through. Board of Borough Engineer, Ty?
Other than what's in my report, I really don't have a whole lot to report. Nothing new came in with the plan and quite much ready.
Okay. Somebody else or anything code forms? Allison?
There are code enforcements in process, but since investigation is knowledge.
There's some things in the works.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So there isn't ever going to be a report about anything that's being investigated.
Investigated only till there's some sort of resolution or
Only
something. Yeah.
until there would be
Some sort of violation or something.
If there would be a
Official
resolution
action.
to it, or if it would be taken in front of a magisterial district judge.
Got it. John, solicitor's report,
Everything quiet here as well, just answer actual questions during the month.
and Mayor, your report?
Just a brief comment. We have the status as we have for the past 6-8 months. As far as police calls are concerned, there's nothing outstanding that I saw. And as a personal comment, I'd just like to say I was very pleased to see the attendance at the evening sessions for the playground. the vast majority of people there were parents of young people 3 to 4 years old up to junior high age. The carnival was held on Thursday evening, was very well attended. According to my son, who has been following as a part-time volunteer in the mornings, the morning sessions are also well attended.
Good. Thank you. Anything committee report, Allison, on budget, finance, and ARPA funds? I asked that there's a 32-page sheet on the funds and what could be expenditures from that sent to everyone in council. You want to dig through that, welcome. And, Allison's gone through it. I've gone through parts of it. I didn't do a summary, but, so it sort of gives you guidance on what you can really look at. I would say in general, health and safety type issues, if you can make a case for something. And I've been trying to let council sort of get the guidelines. If you guys have some ideas for some things, or, which we would normally not have in our budget, or, like for years and years, we've been talking about doing something at the tennis court to fix it, and it's possible we could maybe work on putting some sort of retaining wall in, catching the subsurface groundwater before it goes underneath the tennis court in particular, divert it away from that, and perhaps use some funds or something like that on that. But we have almost 2 or 3 years to spend all that.
2026.
Yeah, so there's plenty of time. It's in an interest-bearing account, so we'll always have that figured out too. So
And there's a deadline to commit the money and then a deadline
to actually spend it.
Yeah.
Any
We have some quiz that gives time.
any ideas out just off the top of your head, or now that you actually have a number in hand and the guidelines to be read?
The basic guidelines are water, sewer, stormwater, broadband I call that the discretionary part of it. You can be refunded for your loss of revenue, but the only account that we had any real reduction in revenue was liquid fuels because of lower taxes, but
Yeah.
probably we're not even talking $6,000 maybe at the most. Then the only other part that we could on the playground would be a public safety health where enhance the playground so people can be out and use the facilities.
I somewhat challenged borough staff to come up with some ideas or projects that would be readily visible to the citizens. Like, I don't want to just say, oh yeah, we fixed more of the sewers. Somehow I don't think that, if we had a project that we could point to, I think that might be a better use of the money. I mean, we have money in sewer fund to take care of stuff. I mean, we could go a little bit beyond what we think we may want to do with sewers this year from its own funds. But I think it might be prudent to be thinking a little bit outside our normal budget, because we just never had extra money to be thinking about some things. Of course, we've had that before. The playground got rehabbed, 25 years ago through a grant. We got the snowplow dump truck through a grant. I mean, so we sort of always had some sort of cognitive ideas on what to do. We just sort of waited around until money fell in our hands, and this is what's happened again. So it's a pretty good strategy.
Figure out how we can maneuver.
Yeah, we need to be setting better where it comes down.
Yeah, because some grants we paid almost as much in engineering as we did in
To get
the amount of
right.
grant funds that we got, just because the state required that your engineers start
Right.
do the grant application until you go,
And not saying this is a real life thing, but it's almost like all these childcare money started flowing and all the costs of childcare suddenly went up, so by all the providers. So if you guys got any ideas in the next couple months or meetings,
and we'll have.
throw some out, and we'll probably maybe have some sort of ideas, move forward and some sort of budget items,
You
but,
know,
yeah.
and may end up being that maybe sewer ends up being what we may need to spend on because televising should start in August. That's, they don't have an exact start
Will that be
date.
live streamed?
No.
It'll be downstream, but not last.
But I suspect we're gonna have to put some budget, items in the budget for that slot of money, whether we spend it or not or change, but I think we're gonna have to put some
Yeah,
sort of
because if we don't-
placeholders, otherwise,
If we don't commit it,
right.
we lose it and have to return
So,
it.
so we may have to be thinking in those terms somehow. So,
You know what the
Conditions of
control
the
date
roof,
is, John?
playground, building.
the pavilion, stuff like that?
Yeah, will they be
I
able
know
to?
what I think I get about 10 pages in and I'm starting.
I don't
Really,
really-
the roofs are actually, because I know
Yeah,
we
yeah.
spent budget.
Because the building roof had been redone
Yeah. 5-6 years ago.
Yeah.
about 5-6 years ago, the building roof had been
Oh,
redone.
that's pretty, that's
And the concession stand roof.
Yeah.
is
It's-
sound.
Yeah, yeah.
I was actually thinking about the possibility of getting
Yeah, unless you have.
LED lighting.
So- Oh, field lighting?
Field lighting,
Yeah.
LED, and replace
I
the
think that.
tennis court and basketball court lighting with LED.
Yeah, that, you know, so-
And then we could.
Well, we need to have some ideas that we need to work through with the project budgets and stuff like that. So, yeah. Or just have them on solar panel even.
But,
Yeah.
having a timer of some sort, if it does still.
Yeah.
What?
Turn them off. 11, 10 or 11.
So, because if they were dust the door, then you're gonna have to.
Oh, yeah, you
Put the bid package together, do that.
I was gonna say,
All that,
Yeah.
whole mind.
So just be aware, ARPA funds will probably be a topic each meeting going forward. You know, so.
Would you like me to add that to the agenda as an item?
I don't know, I think we'll just talk about it once we go through the treasurer's report and when,
You can stick it under unfinished business.
yeah, unfinished business or.
Including engineering.
We almost have to.
It just says deadline to use the funds remaining available through December 31st, 2026, but I remember there being a deadline. to
Yeah.
commit.
For committing to a project.
I'll have to read
Is
through.
there approval process for the projects?
No, there's probably an audit process and that's,
Well, the approval process is by council following public procurement guidelines, so if you can use co-stars depending upon, say you used it to do the televising. Mr. Rehab is co-stars. They have a bid price that has been accepted by the state. And so that you don't have to take that out to bid. Where, as I was talking to Ty, our usual greater expense is the putting together the bid package, all the reviews, the engineering reviews, the attorney reviews, the advertising and everything else like that expense. And that becomes a chunk that you eliminate with the co-stars because it's all.
all that's supposedly done on the front end.
It looks like it has to be committed by the end of 2024. Okay, that's what it looks like.
So in general, I thought we need to put it in the budget, under budget items, you know, council would approve the budget, then council approves expenditures. And I think there might be some sort of audit to make sure whatever you spent the money on met the 32-page guidelines.
I'm sure we'll probably have some
But,
kind of
yeah.
stuff we have to submit.
But this way, staff doesn't get, you know, supposedly put in jail with the council if they voted on it, you know. That's takes that fiduciary responsibility with its own council. So. Streets and lights, anything? Derek's been working on this one street.
Elms completed.
Walnut?
Lake Forest,
Or
I did have a comment from a resident, who at first was concerned about how, when they first did the milling on Walnut. And then when I explained how the project was working, he goes, oh, okay. After it was completed, he did tell me he did a very nice job.
we had some issue with signs being stolen.
What do you do with science?
So some people were upset with Elm Street, but not paying attention or coming from the alley into the work without seeing a sign and. But there's been very good cooperation working with Mountain on this.
It's great.
So, and for more than just doing the streets projects, it's kind of, do they need help, they call us, we need help, we call them. And sharing of equipment.
I love the expect delays signs. It was like Snoopy and his beware of dog sign.
The only other thing I had is last month I brought up the fact that the street sign at Holy Turnpike Road, St. Lawrence Avenue, is turned 90 degrees. And when I went by today, it is still turned 90 degrees, which is not really a good thing for, for people walking.
Understood. I know it's on this list of things to do, but they were.
Yeah. But that is what, a 20-minute job?
I don't know. Oh, I guess the top, you mean just
Top,
the top,
right there from
yeah.
top back.
Yeah.
I mean, it's loosening the
After
ball.
they start at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning and are out in the heat until 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and then have to do the yard waste pickup and the other stuff. I know it has to get done. Derek knows it has to get done. It will get done.
Hopefully by the next council meeting, so that it's off the list. Planning commission, anything? Any need for planning commission? Nope.
I don't think that there's a need. The group that came in to talk about wolf bleach and dye, they were looking at putting apartments in down there, and they found out that the elevations for the floodplain will not work to do housing units. The request was, what do we think about storage units? And I basically said to him, you need to go before the zoning hearing board to seek a variance. It's not allowed in that zoning district. I personally think that it's a bad idea, because in the woods along the creek is not my ideal, in the middle of a residential area, an ideal location for storage units and vehicles coming and going, and there would have to be some severe limitations, and we know gating that area down there does not work.
And also with storage, you have very little control over what is stored there, and there are liability protections on the property owner storage units. So there really isn't a lot of account and floodplain that's extremely important to be there.
Plus people might, I've heard of people in Florida who just rent a storage unit and just live in it, so who knows. Anything on sanitary besides the televising, which we talked about doing Mr. Rehab?
I think that.
I think that was it.
Yeah,
Trash recycling, just the normal complaints.
lots of
normal
complaints.
Recreation,
Well, as the mayor said, the playground program is going full steam ahead. I think Kyle will get
Yeah, I didn't even think about getting numbers.
getting numbers.
This week was
in terms of
definitely
work.
slow. This is always a slow week before
Fourth
July.
of July. But I'd say on average in the morning, we're looking at what, about 16
16,
to
20.
20, and in the evening, or usual evening. We're seeing a lot, a much younger crowd this year,
like 12 and under.
12 and under, yeah.
Yeah.
So that always seems to happen every so many years. We get
Cycle.
and we see more parents up in the evening.
Going with the younger kid.
With the younger
you're gonna
kids,
get-
yeah, so, yeah.
Are the seasoned citizens from the apartments coming over? I haven't seen them.
Now,
They haven't done it.
they really
Oh, maybe they're fearful.
They stay here.
Yeah.
And it's also, we've really scaled back on what's done in the concession stand.
They used to flock to that.
Yes.
Were you thinking the prepackaged?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so, but
I
so
think
far,
COVID, they're not really coming out.
So the indirect result, like down dental bills over there too.
Not sure, but that'd be an interesting study.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get a grant for that.
Emergency management, anything, Dave?
Nothing to report.
Zoning hearing board, nothing? Municipal lands,
When?
Yeah, well, the creek is almost dry up.
not probably by Saturday. Insurance, anything, Allison? Newsletter went out. Next one will have to be sometime in the fall, I guess,
Sometime late September.
like Halloween and stuff.
We usually get Halloween curfew set, in
I'll bring Halloween
September.
up next month because, the separate dates. We
Alright.
want to do the 2 days again, or you want to do the 1 day. I know that was a point of contention last year.
Only a few people complained about the 2 days. A lot of people liked it because they'd go out one day and then they'd be home one
Yeah.
day.
Library, anything new?
Sword walk dedication happened the end of May, it made the news, but nothing.
Did they get any money directly or indirectly from Exeter Township, from the ARPA funds?
I don't know about ARPA, but the ground crew there did all the grading and,
For the walk,
yeah, but it was, I mean, there were donations from like motives and, the trash company and, you know, other groups donated the actual paving materials and things like that. The ground crew did the labor.
outstanding. Borough manager, anything to really report? Nope. Unfinished business, the speed sensory report for Lynn Avenue. So I got an email to you, there's one copy here. So we were just discussing briefly, it doesn't look like it's way too out of line with anything above 9 or 10 mile per hour, which is the enforceable speeding like that. So at some point, whoever complained, we want to send them, you know, any information about it, or just say we reviewed this with our engineer and there's no real actionable item.
Well, you can email them and just say it's available if you care to have
Right.
it sent to you, we will be glad to send it to you.
Yeah. So. New business resolution for support of PA commissions for the United States semi-quincentennial.
It's actually in your packet, something the county wanted to,
I don't know that it has to be done.
And that'd be
I
done
don't have
tonight.
it prepared because I didn't know if you wanted to do it.
It's a copy of the resolution the county did. And then they sent a screenshot of their, PowerPoint, one page of their PowerPoint presentation. It is to celebrate the country's birthday in Pennsylvania.
Council want to put,
Pennsylvania's rolling.
yeah, does council want to work on this tonight or push it off till next meeting? Have to get a little bit more familiarity with it or anything?
What are they actually asking of us?
They want every municipality in Berks
adopt the
County
same
To adopt the same resolution.
Looks like a resolution of support.
But the allocating of the $5,000 isn't for every municipality.
No, that is what the county commissioners gave, but they did not request any funding from any other municipalities. I think what they're hoping is that municipalities come up with their own type of.
So Berks County, they have now a commission, America 250 PA Commission. So they gave $5,000 to, I guess, a diverse group of citizens. And now they're gonna come up with activities and stuff like that. That's how I read it. So we would probably not put a dollar amount if we did a resolution. So you, wanna go ahead and, work this up for next meeting and we'll have a sort of a
So
resolution
what, keep out that dollar amount?
for the time being, yeah, because I'm sure they'll come back again.
One, they can give
Right.
money, it's a commission that's gonna be in place through, this is what year, it's 2026.
Yeah.
So this is.
Couple of years
thinking
out.
Ahead, so it's just, they're funding their commission as it goes.
It's going to be, I guess, a lot like 1976 and all the planning that went into bicentennial celebrations.
The other new business, I passed along, or everybody got to touch, some granite. And, if you haven't gone down the steps, the memorial plaque that used to be on the masonry, I don't know what that would be called, monument, that got moved up, and we have it mounted on a piece of board painted black against the wall, which I think looks fine. But, I looked at that plaque in more detail. Someone spent a lot of money on that plaque.
Oh, absolutely.
And I'm asking council, do you think we need to spiff up the plaque a little bit better than just have it mounted on a board? And, would you want me to go see how much a very thin piece of granite would cost? Or we would have it mount the granite to the wall, then mount that to the granite or through the wall or something like that?
I think just frame out the plaque.
Or frame out the
I was
plaque?
gonna say,
Yeah, just
frame
frame.
out a plaque with the granite, that would be nice.
Yeah. Just the top plaque, or, what are you talking about when you say plaque?
Plaque.
There's two plaques.
Yeah, two plaques, so the whole thing.
Frame,
Yeah.
frame out the whole
And
thing.
the
It
figure,
would significantly reduce the weight being attached.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so you want to have like a window frame, like it'd be open? Yeah, I'm sure they can do that. Yeah. So the council, you want me to go ahead and proceed to get some sort of cost estimate of what that would cost, something like that?
So the granite comes in all sorts of colors, so you're looking at something.
Well, this is from Laverton, Georgia, wherever the museum was. And, it's, the memorial granite capital of the United States. So you can go to other places and get granite, but most headstones, tombstones, monuments for whatever, down there, there's like 27 different, granite companies down there that all do that, so. So anyway, my intention was, would it, if council thinks we should investigate that a little bit further, I would, maybe make it look a little bit, more presentable.
yeah, that was nice.
All right, we'll move along with that. Anything else, general comments, council items of interest?
Just a question. I've noticed, driving around, I've seen this for a while, and it's kind of bugged me a little bit. Our sign ordinances. I see cropping up, we buy your house, call 800 And along the road, there were like 3 of them down Bingham Street. And I believe our ordinances forbids that type of stuff. I don't know for sure.
It's on public property, it's not in the right of way, it's not on private property.
It's probably on private property, but do we allow signs to be out? You could put signs out on your private property,
I know you can for like a lawn sale or a yard sale, stuff like that.
but for long term, I didn't know whether we had some, I know political signs have time period.
Right, political signs have some time frame to them for candidates, although political signs with political messages on private property, I would want to remove.
But then these are temporary signs.
These are just temporary things, just little temporary signs.
Why not, I'll check the zoning ordinance.
Yeah, I don't know what they are.
You know.
I've seen them, you got junk, call one,
Yeah, and
got junk.
when they can, this street crews posts are just removable.
But, they're probably on private property. Down there, I don't know what's private, but, that's where the billboards are and stuff. And there's one I know near us that's just next to the sidewalk on private property.
I'll take a look at that.
But they would need zoning.
I think they would, I mean, if they're just temporary signs, there may be one thing allowed, but.
But how long is a temporary sign allowed for?
Temporary, different codes, it's like 30 days and stuff like that. You have to watch that though, because even when you put up like Christmas decorations, under like the electric code, you're only allowed to have those up for like 30 days. It's a violation of electric, National Electric Code, so.
Yeah, I'd be glad to look into that.
Yeah, it's just as you're going down there, you get to the light and you see this. Right now, they were mowing, so there was only one there, but yesterday there were 3.
Well, who owns that, the property owner?
They contracted somebody, whoever owns that property that has the billboard.
The billboard company.
Do they own that, the billboard company? I didn't know whether it was leased out or whether it was.
So can the billboard company put more signs up on the property that they
Oh,
own?
I'm sure they're not putting them up. People are just,
People
Right.
are.
Actually, they're taking a billboard down in the borough,
yeah, the one,
the one up at in front of the miniature golf.
right.
Whatever became of the cars parked in the right of way, next to the UCC, is that?
But nothing
I
came up,
missed
they're
the
still
last
there?
meeting, so
Well,
that was the
it's-
main meeting we talked about that. I wasn't here.
It's an
I was there.
enforcement investigation.
Oh, okay.
In progress, that's what my understanding. Anything else, any other issues?
Well, the only thing, Joan, I had a discussion with you, is it,
Yeah, it's in progress, I guess, is the best way to describe it, I mean, we don't have any.
There is no conclusion at this
well,
point.
yeah, but.
Oh, yeah, all right.
Right,
Yeah.
what I asked Joan earlier is, should we have an executive session to bring council members up to speed as to where we are today with potential litigation?
I would probably tell you there's been no progress at all. There's almost like a timeout, based on some feedback we got from the solicitor.
And does everybody on council know what that feedback was?
I don't know if we said that or not. That's a great question.
Remember, we were having an independent attorney look at it.
Right.
And we
And
don't-
are members of council aware of that? Okay, that was my point.
Yeah.
I think we should have.
You want to do that tonight?
Yeah,
Okay.
and fill people in, and
Sure.
what's happening.
All right. So if there's no other general business, we'll stop our general meeting.
I have
Well-
a-
Oh, I'm sorry. Time out.
Only have a curfew during Halloween or something,
There is one year round.
which is
It's
in
11.
particular.
11.
11. In particular, I know I built the house next to the basketball court. There's some late night basketball. Well, basketball.
610-655-4911.
So if there's no other general meeting topics, we will adjourn our meeting, go to executive session. I don't think there'll be any other business from, once we come out of the executive session, except to adjourn our general meeting. I expect no others.
All right, now I'll make a motion, we enter executive session to discuss pending litigation.
Second,
Second.
motion moved and seconded to go into executive session. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed, motion passes.
for helping their road crew and how much they appreciated the help.
Okay,
And next meeting is August 12th. I need to know availability, because I don't want to keep scrambling for.
I'll be here.
Okay, well, then we're good.
All right.
That's it.
Motion to adjourn. Second.
motion been moved, second, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Motion. Session is.